it's Andibunny here, and I have just returned from a very eventful and exciting weekend in Hollywood, California, watching the season finale of The Path on Hulu, and I had an amazing time. I actually returned last night, late last night. Today is actually the 24th. Technically, today is at 9 o'clock Pacific time. Midnight on the East Coast is when they will be airing the season finale of The Path on Hulu. But we got to see it on Sunday, and it was just so phenomenal and exciting. I wanted to share some of my experiences with you, as I just had a phenomenal time and got to meet most of the cast, and I got to meet Jessica Goldberg, and wanted to talk to you a little bit about that and what my experiences were. Because it was really amazing, and the amount of love and just outpouring of beauty from everyone was tremendous. And these are some amazing people that are working on this show, not just talented but genuinely good people, which to me is just really special, and it just kind of makes it pretty awesome to be supporting something that is not only such a phenomenal creative endeavor, but also involves people that are just genuinely really good, solid people and good-hearted people. So essentially what happened was, this was being held at a place called the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, which is a pretty famous location in Hollywood proper, and it's on Santa Monica Boulevard. A lot of very famous people are buried there, and what they do is on the weekends they actually air movies there outdoors. They've got a great big lawn, and they project these movies onto the side of this building. And it's just a beautiful venue to have movies in, especially because the weather is so lovely, down there in Southern California. So I got there pretty early. The doors were supposed to be opening at 6:45 with the show starting at 8, but this isn't my first rodeo. I've done a lot of I've been to a lot of concerts, and I've been to a lot of special events like this, so I wanted to get there super early and kind of get set up and settled in early. So I got there around 3 in the afternoon, just to kind of get a feel for where everything was going to be, and get my stuff set up, and get kind of explore the area and see where everything was, get a lay of the land. So when I got there, the Cinespia sound check guy was setting up and getting all of the audio set up. They already had most of the VIP section already set up. They had essentially there was the stage, the area where they were projecting against the wall, and then they had a VIP tent. And so when I got there, I sort of just started chatting up the staff. I got my pass, my VIP pass, and I started talking to the Cinespia sound guy, and asking him just some questions about how everything was happening and how it was being set up and stuff. And he was super nice. Everybody I talked to was so nice. The entire staff. I can't say enough about how great the people of Hulu are, and all the people that were working there for The Path. Everybody was just super friendly, and so I got my blanket set up and everything. Since I was there so early, I got it set up right next to the VIP tent, which nobody really told me that that's what it was. I just kind of figured that that's what it was because they had all these really special fancy little chairs and stuff set up, and it was pretty close to the stage where they had special chairs set up along this beautiful background of topiary, where it looked like they were going to be doing their Q&A later. So I kind of put two and two together. I know a little bit about how stages are set up, so I pretty much figured that was going to be the VIP tent where they were going to have the actors watch the show. So Max Eric was the first that I saw to show up of the cast, with his girlfriend. And they immediately went over to this the VIP party that they had set up, which was in this beautiful area that was set up to look just like the Meyerist Compound. It was like a mini Meyerist Compound, very brilliantly, creatively done. They had a giant pyramid with a projection of the Meyerist eye projected onto it, which was just beautifully, beautifully, cleverly done. They also had a booth, various little booths set up. One of them was there were some young ladies making flower crowns. They had a tent set up for where they're mixing drinks and beverages. They had various little food tables set up with all uh, some South American, like Peruvian decor, as well as ladders and flowers with flower pots and herb gardens and herbs and wildflowers, and it was all just set up to look very much like the Meyerist Compound. Just this very beautiful, idyllic, hippie-looking sort of slash Peruvian type community, and it was just beautifully done. So this is where they had the VIP party before the show. And Max showed up. I went up to him and I introduced myself to him. Him and his girlfriend were just the sweetest people. They were very nice. His girlfriend loved my flower crown. This is, of course, the flower crown that I wore, which is my Hannibal flower crown, which, of course, I used for this. They were making flower crowns there, like I mentioned, for folks to wear. But I came pre-flower crowned, of course. Anyway, they were really nice kids, and very gracious. And then I was kind of wandering back and forth between the VIP party and where I had my things set up, which was over next to the VIP seating tent over by the stage. So I saw Aaron Paul, and I walked up to him and I said, I'm Andrea, I'm Andy, and I'm doing a podcast for your show. I wanted to introduce myself to you. And he said, well, hi, Andy, I'm Aaron, which I just found so charming and so funny. And, and I said, well, yes, I know. I know who you are. I just wanted to say congratulations on season 2 and a phenomenal season 1. You're doing a great job. I absolutely love what you've done, playing Eddie. And he was just very gracious, very down to earth. And, he gave me a big hug and he was just so sweet. And, thanked me profusely. He was very humble, and I took a photo with him. And then, I managed to keep my cool and my wits about me, but he was very easy to talk to. I mean, very, very, very down to earth and normal, just like talking to anyone, And then of course afterwards, I walked away and you know, got several hundred feet away, and then just started like, oh my God, I just met Aaron Paul. What the heck? So that took me a while to kind of calm down from, because holy shit, Aaron Paul, you know what I mean? So but he doesn't act that way at all. He is the nicest guy and just so humble and so down to earth and so cute and funny. He's just a sweetheart. So he made a really great impression on me. So then I wandered back into the VIP party and got another glass of wine, and then I saw Amy Forsyth, who, I told her who I was. I walked up to her. I'm like, Amy, I said, I'm Andy. I'm Wendigo Bunny. And she's like, I know who you are. And I said, what? I was just like, how could you, how do you know what? So then she's like, she's like, I love your responses and your tweets. I said, yeah, you've been retweeting me a lot. I said, I do the Pathifist podcast, and you've been retweeting me a lot. I said, you're the one that posted, the gif of the Hugh Dancy gifs from, from, the Jane Austen book club. She posted a couple of gifs of Grig, Hugh Dancy's character Grig from Jane Austen book club, and I retweeted her, and we had a little bit of a little fangirl moment over Hugh Dancy. It was very, very adorable. She's so cute. We talked for quite a while, and I was really impressed. And she said, that her boyfriend has been telling her to try to get on my podcast, and it was just so cute. She's just really adorable. She's a sweetheart. And I just really enjoyed talking to her a lot, and it was so surreal to me because here she is, this brilliant actress doing just such an amazing job on this show, which I told her, and she's just so conversational and so genuine, and she just has this beautiful light inside of her, and she's just a wonderful girl. So again, I was just blown away by how just personable and just really genuine these people are. They're just really amazing. So, the next person I saw as I was just walking around, I saw Jessica Goldberg. And I had to go up and talk to her. I went up to her, and I said, hi, Jessica, I just wanted to talk to you. And I told her about the podcast. And she too, immediately, she was just like, I know you, I know the podcast, I recognize your name. And she's like, I really appreciate what you're doing and promoting the show and everything. And, I told her, hey, yeah, I'll talk to anyone who stands still long enough. Watch the show. This show is amazing. This story is so rich. These characters are so well developed, and there's so much material here, and there's more layers to this drama. It's not just one thing. It's not just a show. It's not just a show about a cult. It's not just a show about this charismatic cult leader. He's not just this one thing. He's not a bad guy. He's so many different things. He's a multifaceted character with such depth, and there's so much that you can empathize with, and not just simply demonize him, not just simply put him into one characterization, as well as all the other characters that are on the show. The same, with Sarah, with Eddie, with Hawk, with Mary. There's all of these characters. So anyway, I'm talking to her about this, and it was a really wonderful encounter, and she was nothing but gracious and kind and beautiful, wonderful person. So meeting Jessica Goldberg was very special to me as well. So that was really cool. And then I saw Kyle Allen, oh, who is just so beautiful. I mean, he is just he's so cute, for one thing. I mean, he's just gorgeous. He's just gorgeous in person. I mean, he's gorgeous on the screen, but I mean, to see him in person, he is just, for one thing, model beautiful, but he doesn't act like it at all. I mean, he is goofy and funny, and so I see him, and I go up to him, and I'm just like, Kyle, I said, you are doing such an amazing job, and I just want to, say hi and introduce myself to you. And he was so cute, and he just said, I told him I was doing the podcast, and he's like, thank you so much for that. He's like, we really, really appreciate that. That's amazing. And I said, you're doing such a brilliant job. And he said, that really means just so much to me. And he said it, just with such sincerity and humility, and so I said, can I take a picture with you? And he agreed to do that. And then he proceeded to make these adorable little faces, in the photos. And I looked, and he's like, make sure you check the photos before you go. I want to make sure that you like them. So I'm looking at the photos, and I can see that he's making all these dorky little cute faces in them. And I'm like, you are so adorable, Kyle. I'm like, can I please hug you? And he's like, no, you're adorable, and I want to hug you. I was just like, this is too much. So, he gives me this big hug, and he is the cutest. He's just the cutest. So I was just in love, in absolute love. He is, not just obviously externally very, very handsome young man, but he's also just got an adorable personality, amazingly talented actor. This kid is just, he is definitely going to go far. He is one to watch because he is just the whole package. So yeah, so then I'm wandering around the VIP party, and I'm kind of secretly hoping I don't see Hugh Dancy, because I was just getting increasingly nervous about it and thinking I really want to just keep my cool and not be, not be nervous or anything. But lo and behold, I see him, and he's being just mobbed. He's just being mobbed by people. And it was a little bit disheartening and a little bit obnoxious, to be completely honest. He was just kind of being treated like a piece of meat, to be frank, and just people were kind of accosting him and trying to get him to pose for photos and just you know do this, do that. Can I have this? Can I have that? And I kind of hung back because I really didn't want any part of that. I wanted to talk to him, but I'm also like, I just, he's a human being, and I felt, I just kind of felt like, have some respect for him. And I just felt like the whole concept of attacking someone, not attacking them, but just kind of being so forward and aggressive with someone because they're a celebrity and having to, I think it's because I kept hearing this party was probably 95% um, Hollywood types, and I kept hearing things in the background like, "Oh, is that an actor?" or "Who's that?" And they were saying this about people like Aaron Paul, who, like, if you don't know who Aaron Paul is, please, why are you here? And I guess that there is a culture of privilege where these are probably wealthy people that are there, that are industry people that are obviously members of probably the voting Emmy Academy, and they're there to consider voting for this show, and they may not be familiar with the actors. So respectfully, that is probably why they don't recognize a lot of these folks. But at the same time, I feel like these are human beings, and there's something to me that's a little bit obscene about treating a person that like a piece of meat, to like the cattle calls where people are just like, look at me so that I can take a picture of you. It's just dehumanizing to me. I'm not trying to be all haughty and high and mighty about it and moralizing, because I know that this is an industry and this is their job, and that you're expected to look at a camera and smile and be charming, and this is you are to some extent a commodity, so this is how it works. But at the same time, as a human being, watching somebody that I just care for, Hugh Dancy, being kind of mauled like this was a little bit sad. It made me sad. So I stepped off to the side, and I was just kind of waiting for things to calm down a little bit. And I just thought, you know what, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I'm not going to just like leap upon him like these people. He's not an animal. I mean, come on. So I stood off to the side as this woman had him posing in a chair for a photograph, and I was looking down as he was seated, and I saw out of my peripheral vision, I saw him look up at me. I felt him looking at me. And I looked up at him, and he caught my eye, and he just kind of gave me this, he rolled his eyes a little bit, and he kind of gave me this grin, and I was very taken aback. So I'm just like, what? And I kind of shook my head a little bit, and he started to get up, and he started to get up and walk towards me, and I said, this is I really don't want to bother you. And he said, you're not bothering me. And I said, I'm really sorry. And he's like, why are you sorry? And I said, I just wanted to, just say hi to you, and maybe take a picture with you, and let you know that I brought you wine from Sonoma County, because that's where I'm from. And I drove up here from I drove down here from there, and I extended my hand to him to shake his hand, because I was in a gesture of introducing myself. Um, and I said, I'm Andy, and he said, come here, and he just drew me into his arms for a hug, and I was like, what? And he says, why did you do that? And I said, well, because your birthday's next month, and I know you like wine, and I'm from Sonoma County. That's wine country. He's like, I know. I love Sonoma County. He's like, where are you from in Sonoma County? I said, Santa Rosa. He's like, I love Santa Rosa. And I said, you're kidding. I said, really? He said, yeah, I was just up there in January. And so at this point, I handed my phone to this lady to take our pictures. And like, she took 6 photos, and 5 of them are of us talking to each other, because we couldn't stop talking once we started. And it just felt so comfortable and natural. Like, we just know, like, it was just amazing how comfortable I felt, after he hugged me and everything. And I told him, I got you a Cabernet Sauvignon, and I got you a Fumé Blanc, and I said, I know you like both red and white, so I couldn't decide. I thought I'd get you one of each from 2 of my favorite vineyards. I used to work in the wine industry, and these are great years. I personally love these 2, wines from these 2 vineyards that I got, so, and they're award winning. And he's like, why did you do that? And I said, well, I told you. I said, because it's your birthday and I'm from that area. And I kind of looked down, and he's like, well, but why? And I said, well, because I love you and stuff, and it's your birthday. And he hugged me again. And it was just so sweet. It was just such a sweet, sweet moment. And I was so taken aback by how humble and real and genuine he was. Just the kindness and sweetness of his spirit. When he looked at me, I can read people's energies really easily, and there was definitely such a tremendous shift in his energy when he was interacting with me, from the way I was seeing him before, when he was just kind of being assaulted by people. It was clear that he was very kind of uncomfortable, and just, he was obviously very gracious and generous, as he always is with people, but he seemed to relax quite a bit more with his interaction with me. I could definitely sense the shift in energy, and it just meant so much to me. And so I told him, I've got it up at the front. I'm sitting next to the VIP tent, and he's like, well, obviously that's where I'm sitting. I've got to go, I've got to swing back up there later, so I'll find you. And I said, that sounds great. So um, that's how that went, and it was a beautiful moment and interaction and conversation that we had. And uh, it blew me away, because I've met many celebrities, and typically the way these interactions go is, you meet this person, and they're very kind and they're nice, but it's like, it's a static interaction. It's You're one stranger meeting another stranger, and it tends to be very one-sided, because the fan meets the star. The fan always tends to know more about the star. Obviously, to the star, you're a stranger. But with Hugh, it just felt to me as though he was reading my heart and my energy as equally as I could read his, and he knew that my heart and my intentions, and he just treated me with a great deal of respect and integrity and care, kindness and compassion, and that really made a big impact on me that I think will last forever. It was just he's just a very, very sweet and beautiful, generous, kind-hearted person. And I think the biggest thing to me about Hugh was, and meeting him, was, for all of the fangirling and the crushes and, oh, he's handsome, his physical appearance just doesn't do justice to how his inner light is, like his spirit and how kind his heart is. When you look in his eyes in person and he looks at you, just a completely different experience. It's yeah, he's an amazing person. It's the full, it's just yeah. So um then I got to meet Clark Middleton right before the show started. Actually, he came walking past, and I stopped him, and he was so excited that I stopped him. It was the cutest thing in the world. I mean, so I asked him if I could take a picture with him, and I told him I really, really loved him in the show, and he was so excited that I stopped him and that I was a fan, and he just said, I told him, you know, you do such a great job as Richard. I said, I would really hate to be interrogated by you because I said, you're so scary and you're awesome. And he said, well, I would hate to be interrogated by me too. And he's like, so I told him about the podcast, and he wants to come on the podcast. So that's exciting. So I've contacted him on Twitter, and we shall see if can get him on the podcast. But he was very excited about it, and he loved me, and he was just a really sweet, wonderful man. So hopefully we can get him on the podcast. That would be if I can get Clark Middleton and Amy Forsyth on this show, that would be awesome. So here's hoping, because that would be great. I would love to have both of them on here. That'd be wonderful. So yeah, so then the show started. They played the season finale, and you know, I don't want to brag, but boy, did I call it on several levels, on several storylines, which, you know, by the time this is up, of course, I'm hoping everyone will have seen the season finale and this will no longer be spoilery. But yeah, it's a little bit scary how accurately I called some of the stuff that happened. Then there was the Q&A afterwards, which I'm really hoping someone taped. I haven't been able to get online and see if anyone taped it, but it was hilarious and well done. Yeah, and just to wrap up the story with Hugh and I and the wine that I had for him, I did wind up giving it to him before he left, and he was very, very grateful. He absolutely loved it, and he thanked me profusely, which I was just like, it's your birthday gift. And he was just he was so taken aback and so grateful and amazed that that I remembered his birthday and that I brought him something. It was so cute. So it was just it was really great. It was wonderful. So I was just really glad that he loved the gifts so much, and that I was able to give them to him. So hopefully he did enjoy the wine and everything. So yeah, it was just a spectacular time. You might see behind me one of the beautiful gifts that I got from the experience. They gave us, the VIPs, these beautiful serapes with the Meyer eye on them. And then here is my lovely VIP pass. Let's see if I can show you. Season finale VIP badge. Yeah, and then so yeah, I mean, it was amazing night, magical night that I will never ever forget. Just tremendous memories, and I'm just so thrilled that we're gonna get a season 2, hopefully many more seasons, because this cast and this story are just beautiful and tremendous, and filled with wonderful people, a fantastic creative team. The writers are fantastic. Jessica is just amazing. We've got Hugh, Aaron, Michelle, you know, Clark, Amy, Kyle, Rockmond, Emma, just Everyone on the show is just spectacularly talented, and looking forward to many more seasons and a continued story, which promises to be quite interesting. So thank you so much again for all of your support. And hopefully, if you stay tuned, you will be seeing and hearing perhaps some of the cast of The Path on this very network. Stay tuned and find out. I love all of you. Please continue to share and subscribe and comment and add your suggestions and message me. I love the interaction, so thank you so much for everything. Love you guys. Live in the light, unburden yourselves, and stay tuned for more. Bye.
with scarves of red tied round their throats to keep their little heads from falling in the snow. And I turn round and there you go, and Michael, you would fall and turn the white snow red as strawberries.